My name is Agnus Valentine. My post office is Hyden, Kentucky. Hyden. The name of the story is The Princess That Could Not Cry. Where I heard it was my sister told it to me. Once upon a time there was a little princess and she could not cry. And her mother said it would not have mattered so if she didn't laugh at everything. And they offered a bag of gold to anyone that could to make her laugh, to make her cry. So when the little girl they decided, a wise man came and decided so that to make her cry was to feed her nothing but bread and water, and the queen thought that she would starve to death, and she said, no, give her bread and milk, and they said, no, said she wouldn't cry like that, and when she said, well, said you can give her bread and water, and they give her bread and water for a week, and at the end of the week, she was still laughing, and when her mother came in to feed her the last day of the week, she said, she kicked off her shoe to the other end of the room, and she said, look, Mama, at my foot. And the mother looked at her foot and cried and said, my poor hungry lamb. And she sat down to the kitchen, told the cooks to bring all kinds of good food for her to eat. And they brought all, and she had a feast. Well, the next wise man had been studying to make all kinds of ugly faces and ugly noises. Well, when he made the wise men came to make all the ugly noises, they locked him up in a room, and the wise man would try making all these ugly noises and faces, and she just laughed and said, Mother, can he come back again? And she cried again, and there was a little girl, and her mother was very sick, and she didn't have enough money to buy her medicine, and this little girl was cooking dinner one day, and she had heard of this, and she knew the princess kind of well, and she said, well, I'll go try. I said, Mother, I'm going to go try to make the little princess cry. And she said, my dear, said, you can't try to make the princess cry. I said, you'll never. Said, all the wise men in the world have tried. And said, none of them can. And she said, yes, I can, Mother. Said, I know a way I can make her cry. And she got her a little basket and a knife and got some onions from the garden and went to the palace and she said, I've come to try to make the princess cry. And the queen said, you can't. Said, all the wise men in the world have come. And she said, yes, I can. And she said, okay. And the queen led her to a room where the princess was in her room, and the little princess laughed because she could see such a pretty little girl. And they played a while, and then Mary took her basket, and she told this little girl to start peeling the onions, and she started peeling the onions, and tears rolled down her face. And the queen and king couldn't wait to see what was going to happen, and they bursted in the room, and the king picked her up and was happy, and the little girl got the bag of gold, and they lived happy ever after. And Mary was always invited to the big feasts, and her mother got well, and they lived happy.